Hey, Bob.
Tim.
Could you pour me a cup of that new Mickey's 90th birthday blend?
Isn't this the best coffee you've... I mean, this might be their best. I gave my wife a little bit of this. She said it's now her favorite, and she loves all the Disney blends, but she's saying this Mickey's 90th anniversary, her favorite.
That's because it was highly crafted by Krista Mezzo and our friends over there at Joffrey's Coffee. Here's the best part about the coffee, Bob.
Yes.
20% off. What's the code?
Looper 2018. That's good for a little while, so don't hesitate. Get on that. Looper 2018 for 20% off.
Stock up for the holidays. Stock up for the cold weather that's coming.
Order today at Joffreys.com.
Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas.
To the left of our forward motion, just beyond the trees, is the Walt Disney World Golf Resort, which lies in the middle of two 18-hole championship golf courses.
Hey everyone, thanks for joining us. I'm Tim Scott.
Yeah, we got the extras to banter.
Oh.
Who's that?
Do you know what that means, Bob?
No. What's going on?
1, you heard Brad Coates. 2, you heard the word banter. That can only mean one show.
Pirates.
During the month.
And it's the end of the month, so we got there's that.
We got to squeeze these guys in to fulfill our contractual obligations.
The Roundtable is a good lawyer. What can I say?
There you go.
That's right. That's exactly right.
There you go. You don't want to tangle with our lawyer. So, DVC Roundtable. Who we got on the Roundtable today, Tim?
Join us. We have a smaller Roundtable today. Other people couldn't make it. Some people are traveling. Some people are down there right now. But joining us is Emily Hansa Hicks.
Woohoo!
Yes. And Mr. Brad Coates.
Greetings, everyone.
It's almost like the kids' table. We're over at the kids' table.
Right.
Emily did cut my food for me, so I thought that was kind of nice.
Hey, I wasn't allowed to drink when I was at the kids' table. I don't know about you guys.
My goodness. Well, guys, thanks for coming on. We really appreciate it. Excited to have you come on. We got some kind of cool stuff that has been happening in the DVC world as of late, including, of course, that big announcement. But Tim, we had a question from one of our loopers. Why don't you throw that one out to our roundtable and see what they got to say about it?
I will. Hey guys, this was from Janet Frazier Sala. She sent it to our Facebook page. She said, "I have a question for the DVC Roundtable. What is going to happen in 2042 when a whole bunch of DVC contracts expire? Do you think there's a possibility of extensions being offered, as was already done for Old Key West? Or will they tear down the resorts? Please speculate. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this topic." And that's Janet. What do you guys think?
I love being asked to speculate. Oh my gosh. That is such a good question, Janet. And I do have some opinions grounded in hypothesis based on observation. But in the end, they're only opinions. And I'll, Brad, you want me to go first?
Yeah, go ahead.
You got it. Okay. I will tell you what I think. In 2042, I think they are going to quick change these resorts, retheme them, and or just resell the same points over again. Because so originally I thought that they would change them, and I think they might still do that with, say, Saratoga Springs or Old Key West. They might give them either a new theme, or they might update the theming, or do something like just kind of take them a slightly different direction for the big off-property ones. Now, I don't think they can really do that with properties like Beach Club or Boardwalk because they're so integrated. The other possibility, which I don't think is going to happen, is that they will just take them back and make them part of the hotels. Because the cool thing about DVC is essentially we've been paying for the maintenance on these buildings for however many years, and then Disney keeps them in the end. So they could take advantage of that by just expanding the capacity of their hotels. But as long as DVC continues to being so profitable, they keep adding new resorts, which means they're probably not going to be phasing it out, and they probably will want more capacity. And the easiest way to do that, the cheapest way to do that is just to take the buildings they already have and resell the rooms again, right? and I don't think they'll be tearing them down. They could tear down like Saratoga, or they could tear down some of the other off-site ones, but I can't see that they would do that. They could sell Hilton Head and Vero if they're not booking as well or selling as well, because they're not making any money off of those anymore, really. Not as much, at least. And so now I'm going to kick it to you guys. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I think that I think we'll see a resurgence in them again. They're going to they may they might not do anything. They might just offer you guys that your contracts are getting ready to expire. They might actually offer an extension in 2042 for anybody who wants to extend their contract at a lower rate or a similar rate to what they originally had. Who knows? And then sell the other portion, and like you said, roll them into just regular resorts. Although they kind of can do that now. I mean, you can book a villa now if something's available. So I think you'll see an extension offered, and then they're just gonna start right back up again. I think it's. Because, like you said, they've been maintaining the resorts. So,
yeah, I hadn't thought about it. The one thing you said with regards to the ones that weren't as profitable or that type of thing, that makes sense. They might close it out, just make it into a hotel. But yeah, why wouldn't they extend it? It's just another way to keep on extending their numbers and their money and keeping DVC people tied in. I think if they suddenly dumped a bunch of points that people owned, even though by law they have to set you know more about this, Emily, than I do, the legalities of not being, you have to have an end date for timeshare, right?
So I don't know that. I don't know if it has to have an end or not. Sure,
because pretty much everything I've ever seen, it always has an end date, and so I think that's part of it. So that's part of the reason they have to do that. It wouldn't make sense, because if they dump all of those owners, I think the negative impact on DVC would be pretty extensive, because a lot of people would be like, wait a minute, so you're just going to make me completely rebuy over? Because most industries, they just turn around and buy the contract again or extend it or something. Right. Anyway, it's going to be interesting to see, but I think it'll be a little bit of both. It's like you said, Emily, I think you're right. Some of it, certain ones of it, they'll still keep active. But in the end, there's only how many of them going in 2042 that are going to pop up? There's only going to Vero, Hilton,
Old Key West part of it. Old Key West will pack up first, right? Yeah,
right. That's right. They're the first the original phase. Yeah,
Wilderness Lodge,
Vero, Hilton, and Wilderness Lodge. Yeah, so
And the crazy thing is, they're kind of reselling Wilderness Lodge right now. You know what I mean? They rebranded it as Boulder Ridge.
Right.
Well, that's what I was gonna ask. Since
they start doing
now,
an expansion.
Yeah. So you've got the Riviera that's coming up. You've got the Coronado Springs Resort that's coming up. And this other one that we're going to talk about here in a little bit, not to mention, like you had said, Emily, the Wilderness Lodge extension. They're going to have to compete with people wanting those. You guys know what that's like. You want the newer, most exotic ones. So I'm thinking they're going to want to definitely lock in those folks that just absolutely love Old Key West, and that's their home, and they are comfortable there, and that's where they want to be. So I think that's where the extension will come in first, and then after that, like you said, maybe a retheming or something like that.
And because they already did do a partial extension with Old Key West, and some people took advantage of it, they kind of have to. At least those units are still going to be Old Key West. So they could add in, they could take the other rooms back and try to, refurb them, turn them into something else, resell them, or just rent them out as rooms. But at least part of Old Key West, we know, has to stay as is. you know.
Right.
Plus, if they turn in that many rooms back into hotel rooms, they're going to have a glut of hotel rooms. Where
Well,
they're going to
especially
have a
that-
lot harder time booking those out.
Right, especially, and those are going to be the more expensive hotel rooms, and
Right.
you know that we're already seeing that some of those are getting tougher and tougher to book, or at least Disney's having a tougher and tougher time to booking those.
Filling.
When you're talking about, you know, a $600 a night room compared to some of the other resorts that are still around $100,
Right.
You know, so.
Well, heck, you know I'm a Grand Floridian girl, but when we're paying cash, you know we're also staying at Port Orleans French Quarter or something
There you
like
go.
that. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. So there you go. Brad, what do you got?
Oh, you know what? I just made a big move from the other room to try to get my connection better, and I forgot my paperwork. Hold on.
Oh no.
Well, I can keep speculating in the meantime. I also think that things like the Poly, like they could turn those into hotel rooms, but just think about all the, like, they will have all these cycled in newer DVC properties. So the brand will still be, hopefully, I mean, you never know what's going to happen that far in the future, but hopefully the brand will still be healthy with properties that still have quite a bit of time left on them. And so I just can't imagine them like erasing all of the studios at Poly, for example, or
Right.
those are like huge capital investments that they were able to fund on the backs of DVC members.
Right.
So why not keep having somebody else pay for them?
Absolutely. No, you're exactly right.
All right, I got my notes.
All right.
Moving on to story number 2. I had not seen this. In fact, when I first went on to our official DVC, website that you, as a DVC owner, you log into to find the perk, I still couldn't find it in there. But DVCnews.com is reporting there's a new perk available. So I'm sure if I call it in, I can find it. But it's not on there. It's so new, it's not even on their website yet. But anyway, it's a around the Seven Seas Lagoon tasting cruise.
Ooh.
Sounds kind of fun. 3 hours.
Is there wine?
It didn't.
Wait a minute. We've already talked about this, Brad. We talked about this before we started the show. It's a 3-hour tour. Is that?
Yeah.
that doesn't work out usually well.
Yeah, it's not. This could turn into a crash.
You make lifelong friends, guys. Lifelong friends.
That's right. All right.
Awesome.
So anyway, the 3-hour Seven Seas tasting cruise takes you 3 different resorts that are surrounding the lagoon for food and drink. So that tells me that there's something in there. I did see on their website. Let me see if I can bring that up real quick. I did have it on there. I've changed places to try to get my network working better, and so things are a little bit different.
Well, you
There it
definitely
is.
sound sharper, so that's exciting.
Yeah.
You sound now like George Clooney. You
Wow.
sound
That's what I was going to say.
Pay attention. The cost is $99 per person, which includes tax and tip. I do not see anything in here that says it does say those under age of 18 must be accompanied by an adult, and participants must be age 21 or older to consume alcohol, but I don't see where it's saying whether alcohol is a part of it. So you can get to alcohol, but whether you got to pay for that extra, I don't know.
Right.
But anyway,
or if you
it
bring
stops-
it in your own Disney water bottle.
There you go.
Not that I've ever done that.
Flask. Your flasks shaped like Mickey ears.
Your
There
Mickey
you go.
flask, yes.
There you go.
Oh my gosh, guys. That doesn't exist. It needs to.
So the 3 resorts you'll stop at are the Disney's you board at the Contemporary Resort, and then while you're cruising around, you make stops at Beaches Pool Bar and Grill at Disney's Grand Californian, Trader Sam's Tiki Terrace at Polynesian, and Top of the World Lounge at Bay Lake Tower.
Ooh.
Wait a minute.
That
Let's back up.
sounds kind of cool.
You just said something. You said, I thought the first one you mentioned was a Disneyland place. Am I going crazy?
No,
the
it's
Beaches Pool Bar.
Beaches Pool Bar at Grand Floridian.
Oh, you said Grand California. Okay. All right.
Did I?
You did. No, that's okay. I was like,
Split.
wait a minute.
It's going to be more than a 3-hour cruise. It's going to be a little bit longer.
Like Bob said, let's see them get this done in 3 hours. I don't think so.
You got me so excited about the wine that I really needed details.
That's a fast pontoon boat, I gotta say.
With them going to Top of the World Lounge and stuff, I would think somewhere along the line alcohol is included in that some way, I would think.
Yes.
I mean, they've got food up at the lounge too, but yeah. Anyway, so $99 per person. There is no lowered price for younger, but I think the goal there is to kind of minimize kids going.
Yes.
So, you know how they kind of do that? They just keep the price up, hoping they won't have too many people.
That's pretty clever of them.
By the way,
go ahead.
I just want to say this. This is intriguing, Tim. It says party size is limited to the owner plus a maximum of 3 guests.
Wow.
The owner, and I don't know, a couple of podcasts.
Maybe a couple.
Yeah,
Deal.
there you go.
Maybe.
They clean up pretty good. They can be polite in public.
And since technically my wife is an owner and I'm an owner, that's 6 guests.
Right.
There you go.
Wow.
That's a party.
She's the lead owner on one contract. I'm the lead owner on the other. There you go.
If Tim wants to go on a cruise before the cruise, we can get him and Dawn.
Tim and Bob and
Absolutely.
their spouses are in. Look at that.
And if you want to see Tim after consuming alcohol, this is the only way it's going to happen.
Now, Emily, the only bad thing about this, I was real excited about this because, we're both going to be out there in January.
Right.
So, but it happens only on Mondays.
What?
And I don't know about you, but that's the day I'm flying home.
That's always the day we're flying home. Yep.
Yeah. And I'm not coming in a full week before, so I'm not going to be able to do it. I was all excited.
Push that flight back till 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
I know. And I'm going to break your heart now, Brad. I'm not going in January.
You're not?
Nope.
Oh.
The kids' school schedule, we just decided to we finally went the way of Tim and Dawn. We're kind of doing school breaks. We figure.
Yeah. When they get to old enough, it just doesn't work anymore.
Right.
We went through that when our girls got older. It just got too hard.
Doesn't responsible parenting stink sometimes? It's tough.
Who started this adulting thing?
By a cruise, because then you're like, well, we'd have to pay for extra daycare if we were home. So
mine are 24 and 19 now, going on 20. And let me just say, this too shall pass.
Okay.
That's my parenting byword.
I'd be irresponsible going a cruise in November with 3 weeks notice. I'm going 4 weeks notice. I'm good. Let's go.
Beautiful. Someday.
There are some benefits. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yes, eventually.
I'm not sure if
I'm going to pay for college, as you know full well, Bob.
That's so funny. Well, also, I apologize if anybody can hear the tantrum in the background.
Is your husband having a tantrum again?
Is that your husband?
No. I try to keep him in check. They try to talk to him. They try to talk him down.
You know us men. We can't, we can't get ESPN on the TV. Something's going to happen.
Someone's going to know we're not happy.
Emily, what's the new big news?
So I've got something even bigger than a river cruise or a lagoon cruise.
Yes, you do.
Even bigger?
Yes, this is a brand new
bigger?
DVC resort. It's going to be, and I think we probably have already talked about this at some point or another. We talked about the river country property and what was going to happen with it. And
we already know what Joe thinks it should be named. We already know. Joe made it clear.
Yes.
That's right. What was he said? What, the River Country Resort?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
I love it.
Keep it the same. Come on, that's what it was. We all know it.
For now, I think we should use that as its working name.
Yeah, we'll just call it that.
Yes. So the River Country Resort, you heard it here first, folks, is going to be, it was officially announced on the 18th, I believe, and it's going to be the 16th resort in the DVC universe. It's as of yet unnamed, except that we just did. So River Country Resort.
That's taken care of. Check.
Right. We're going to start making merchandise for it right now.
Yeah.
Beat the market. It's going to go on the shore of Bait Lake, and it's going to be right where we said, the River Country Water Park location between the Wilderness Lodge and Fort Wilderness Campground. It's going to have more than 900 hotel rooms, which is crazy. And it's going to have proposed Disney Vacation Club villas. I think that's a combined number probably. But that's a pretty big number. I don't have all the hotel room numbers memorized, but that is like a pretty large resort if I'm conceptualizing it right. And there is concept art out there, and it shows kind of almost some freestanding buildings. So it looks like maybe a large unit and then a freestanding and look, which is interesting because the experience, they say, is a celebration of Walt Disney's lifelong love and respect for nature, with some fun and surprising accommodation types that families will find irresistible. So that'll be interesting to see we know that they've been doing cabins and bungalows. So they are definitely seeming to go thrusting on these like family accommodations. So I'm looking forward to see what those would be surprising and irresistible. Although I do find all of them surprising and irresistible. They talk about giving an opportunity to stay in close proximity to all the newest attractions and the experiences in the theme parks. So the resort's scheduled to open in 2022. And that's pretty much what we know. I think so. I was thinking initially that it looked a little bit like Frank Lloyd Wright-ish, like a little bit modern.
Yeah,
it does.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, but it doesn't more per se. What do you guys think?
Well, I had the conceptual art. Somebody on one of the blogs said it looks a little bit like a casino.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit. My concern with it is because it's going to sit right kind of behind. If you can visualize Wilderness or the Fort Wilderness Campground, it's going to sit kind of behind the horse barn there.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Okay.
kind of over there, a little to the left, heading toward the lake of the horse barn.
Triple Circle D Ranch, I think.
Circle D
like
Ranch, yeah.
Yeah.
So how much is it going to be? Is it going to impact the Fort Wilderness?
You're right.
One, and what's it going to do as far as the view is concerned from the cabins now over at the Wilderness Lodge? That and the Wilderness Lodge itself, when you go out and you kind of look across at the cabins, are you then going to see this resort here? I'm waiting to see what it's going to look like. Just to give you an idea, 900 hotel rooms. Wilderness Lodge is only 729.
Wow.
That doesn't include, I don't think, the
Boulder Ridge,
but yeah, 729 compared to 900. So maybe it's comparable, I guess, to the whole Wilderness Lodge. And that's not, it doesn't look like it has a huge footprint, Wilderness Lodge. So maybe they'll be able to mask it. It won't have a big footprint either.
I'm kind of thrilled there's not a 15-story tower with this one.
Stop it.
No, I'm just saying that
towers.
that's exactly because these look like they're a maximum of like 6 or 7 stories tall, maybe at the most.
Yeah, that's what it looks like to me too. It looks like separate buildings, but lower and not small though. That'll be interesting to see. Like if they put, what are they going to do? Because they look almost square-like. So are they going to put like courtyards in them, or, that would be cool. Honestly, if you start thinking about it that way, that could be a cool design. If you had buildings with courtyards.
Yeah. Hopefully there'll be some resurrection of the water park within it. Maybe the pool.
Yes, that would be cool.
Like a Stormalong Bay, but river country.
Exactly.
But
they
without the brain-eating amoebas.
Right. I like to call them alligators. I just call them alligators. It's,
right.
Whatever.
I was going to mention to you too, because I was kind of surprised. While you guys were talking, I was researching, and I figured it was going to fall somewhere in between the Animal Kingdoms and the Saratoga Springs, with the big, huge ones. and then it would be a little bit bigger than the other. But actually, Saratoga is not even 900, even including the Treehouse Villas. Yeah.
Wow.
It's 792, so it'd be 888 rooms at Saratoga, it looks like.
Wow.
So it basically is the size of Saratoga. That's big. I mean, Saratoga is like, it never rents completely out because it's so huge.
Yeah.
But with this being a little bit of both, being hotel, I think you're right. It makes sense if 900 is what it is in hotel rooms plus DVC, and only 400 of that's DVC or something.
Man, I hope we're all still doing DVC Roundtable in 2042, and we can all test our
back in the day.
Get off my lawn!
Back in the day.
You know that old hotel that they built on River Country? That old.
I'm sorry, we had to start the podcast a lot earlier in the day. I go to bed by 4.
That's right.
Tim has to extend all of our contracts in order.
Right.
There you go.
There you go.
At least we'll have our heirs on the. Well, our heirs will have already inherited the contracts, and they'll take our seats on the round table.
Right. There
Yep.
you go. There you go.
We'll abdicate
we're
our
willing to do
seats.
that. Why not?
That's so funny. Oh man.
Well,
But
so
sounds exciting, doesn't it? I mean, I love anything inspired by nature. I love but I do agree. I hope it doesn't impact the Wilderness Lodge experience or the Fort Wilderness experience.
Right.
I love that ranch. We loved biking through that little woods between Wilderness Lodge and Fort Wilderness. That's like a fun adventure to do, whether you're staying at either place. You can go.
Go ahead, Brad. I'm sorry.
I was going to say our last trip out last summer, that's the first time I've ever made my way over there, and we stayed in one of the cabins. That was
awesome.
very, very enjoyable in its own way. I didn't like the cabin, to be honest with you, because we had a bad one.
Oh dear.
But the experience of being in the quiet and renting a golf cart and just cruising down to the boat, and it was so much more quiet and relaxed. And
yes, I totally agree. That was our most relaxing
to lose
trip.
That.
So
it really
I was looking at a map, right? I was looking at Bay Lake, and once you get past the campgrounds, they've got an awful lot of property out there.
Mm-hmm.
So my question to you guys is this: you've already got, of course, Fort Wilderness that was there in '71. It's been there forever, and absolutely people love it. It is a great place to go. If you haven't gone to Fort Wilderness, go check it out. One of my favorite restaurants over there. But then you also have the Wilderness Lodge, which they just redid all of that with the Copper Creek and all of that stuff. Should they have maybe not put this there just yet, and maybe put one of a different type of design, a different theme other than wildernessy, quote unquote, nature, further back at the back end of Bay Lake?
Or build a renovated version of Fort Wilderness back there and move it.
Something. Something.
So you can
right.
still keep it secluded,
Right. You could have had, instead of the waterfront bungalows, you could have like almost like a cabin in the woods kind of feel. If you could have pushed those. But just something different. I don't know.
I
Next
agree
DVC
with that.
meetings, I'm going to vote you on the board.
Yeah. But I do think that there is room. I was thinking about this because I was like, another nature themed thing right in the same area, huh? But I was thinking also, Wilderness Lodge isn't exactly nature themed. It's like old school explorer themed, and then
kind of like Boy Scout, Cub Scout kind of a feel, campfire.
Right, and so I think you could go like in a different natural direction, and so I think they must be trying to, because otherwise, like how I just can't imagine that they would not Imagineer sort of a different experience. So they. Yeah, I'm thinking more like Franklin, right? I'm thinking more like, like Adventures by Disney type exploration. I have no idea though, because those buildings don't look like they don't.
See, that's what concerns me too. Is you have a Fort Wilderness, and I hate to be one of those that's always complaining or finding flaws in things. But you've got the Fort Wilderness that's very rustic. old, pioneer days kind of thing, which was always the theme. Then you got Wilderness Lodge, which is Pacific Northwest National Parks, very, rustic looking. And then you're going to plop this Frank Lloyd Wright looking thing in between them.
Casino, Frank Lloyd Wright Casino.
Frank Lloyd Wright Casino. I don't know. I'm just saying. I'm sure it's going to look beautiful. It's a little confusing.
Right.
To me.
Doesn't look bad. It doesn't look bad.
And isn't part of this the reason why they're closing down Hoop-de-Doo?
What?
Huh?
Wait,
I thought that was Mickey's. I thought that was Mickey's Backyard Barbecue.
Mickey's Backyard, was that it?
Oh, thank God.
Well, I heard something about Hoop-de-Doo supposedly playing its last thing coming up.
Ooh.
That's what I heard.
I don't know about that.
I mean,
this
let
is
me go
where
see if I can hunt down.
this is Disney terrorism right now. Just want you to know.
I
Not
agree.
good.
I was not happy. I thought
Brad,
we finally
not
got
okay.
to get the last trip.
So we are going to go in January then? I'm just kidding. It'll be November. Can you guys hook me up with a last minute discount because
We'll see what we can do.
Got to get down there before it closes.
right.
Jeez, man.
You guys, if you need to
That's-
get down there for Hoop-de-Doo, Resort Loop Travel is the way to go. These guys know their stuff in case you haven't noticed. And
Well, do we? Oh.
they also know where to find the Joffreys, which is
That's
even
true.
more important on your vacation
That's-
than where you booked.
Extremely important. Oh, speaking of Joffrey's, I'm buying you some time, Brad. Speaking of Joffrey's,
Use the code.
This is going to be your last opportunity to
What?
use Looper 2018, the code Looper 2018. I believe it expires tomorrow, so make sure
Jeez.
you hop on that, get that Joffrey's coffee and tea. What is the discount, Tim?
20%.
20%.
20%.
Great.
Spend over
See,
50,
this
the
is where-
shipping's also free. So you want to take advantage of that.
This is where I speculate because I need to get some Christmas gifts and I love to get the Kona for Christmas. So
Yes.
do I buy it now or do I wait closer to the time so it's not, so it's fresher, because I know that they take so much care with their beans that I think I'm going to have to wait till closer to the time.
Well,
But
There's
maybe
nothing
I'll
wrong with
just-
that. But
Maybe I'll buy some anniversary blend for myself real quick.
get whole bean if you want it to last a little bit longer. The whole bean will stay fresher longer.
that's right.
Yes, good.
And
So-
Christmas isn't that
and-
far off, to be honest.
No, it's not. You're right. I already have most of my shopping done.
Nice. Wow.
Wow.
I do it all year long, though, to be fair.
Good. Let's talk about this real quick. Have you seen the new pictures of the Coronado Springs behemoth? Speaking of behemoths.
No.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I'm not loving it. I'm telling you, I'm
No?
just not loving it. Not when
I
you've
don't
got
love-
all those other great little rancheros and casistas and all of that,
Right.
and then you get this behemoth.
Yeah, I'm going to sound a little whiny real quick, but I'm going to agree with you. And I also hope that they change this concept art or that it looks better in person for this new one, because I don't like this move towards like these sort of modern, they look like conference centers to me or something, or like just a hotel. And we all know that's not why we stay in a Disney resort.
No, it's the theming.
Right.
Got to be the theming.
Immersion.
I think
I'm back.
Brad's
I was gonna say, I
helicopter
think we
has
got
landed.
I can't believe, Emily, just because I said that, I hope to do, you cut me off.
I know. I couldn't handle it. You can't handle the truth. So is it the truth? Did you check? Or no?
I did check. Actually, that was the rumor in August, and then I hadn't seen it was corrected that it is Mickey's Backyard that's closing and not Hoop-de-Doo. Because at one point, I guess even the singers and actors have been informed there was going to be a break or something, and then I think everybody started speculating that was the closure. But WDW Info and Neverland and several others are reporting now that it's not closing, but Mickey's Backyard Barbecue is.
Which makes sense because that also was a seasonal sort of thing.
Yeah,
I feel like
that was.
we always wanted to go and we never were in that area when that was happening.
Right.
So that's why they closed
Hoop-de-Doo's-
SeaWorld in Ohio.
Hoop-de-Doo's sold out every single time. I mean, it's bad.
Yeah.
And so. that would
And
be-
by the way, if you're a DVC member and you're listening and you're not paying attention to your perks, there's usually a late showing discount for Hoop-de-Doo. So
There is.
when you go. And I'm telling you, that one never gets old to us. We've seen it with the kids, like almost, I want to say every other year. I'd be willing to see it every time we went. It's just that fun. So
they change it up for the holidays, and they do those special things. It's always good. It's always fresh and new in some ways. So.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what they do with, how they're going to attach this resort to the other two.
That's the thing. Everybody out there. Yeah, and Disney, all of our Disney fans out there, don't stop breathing in the bag. We don't really know. We're all just speculating because we really don't know. They barely announced it. We have a sense of the area. We just don't see how they're going to pull it off. But maybe they'll surprise us.
I'm sure it'll be great.
Isn't that how this is what we do? And we've been doing this now. We've been doing this for 6 years. We're like, oh well, they better do this and they better do that and they better. And then we go down there and we go, wow, that looks better than we thought it was going to.
They did a good job. How about those guys?
Like Pandora. Is it going to be cool? Is it going to be lame? Do you have to have seen the movies? Whatever. And then everyone's like, oh my gosh, I'm in another universe. This is amazing.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
By the way, Bob, I disagree that Rivers of Light is a snooze fest. So,
okay,
just for the record,
I'm just saying. For me,
that's okay.
Emily,
I'm down the line.
I gotta learn Na'vi apparently, so I understand what's going on.
Oh my gosh, what if it's a Pandora themed hotel? The nature's actually not.
Wow, that's a lot of blue.
Nope. You take a river. Oh my gosh, what if you take a river to your room?
A blue person checking into your room.
What if you take a canoe to your room? I have some ideas, Disney. Call me.
I like that. Only you're going to have to paddle it yourself, like back in the old days of Disneyland. But here's a little tangent, though. I just got to throw this out there. We are getting, before we get the next Avatar number 2, we're getting actually a real Titanic number 2. What is going on?
Crazy.
Like a boat or
an actual
ship.
Titanic?
The boat.
Who's gonna go on that?
Exactly.
Idea.
It's like
the Hindenburg.
The one on the first cruise. I'm sorry. It's just
and they are actually going to do the exact route.
Wow.
Titanic.
I've recently felt that people are dumber than I thought. And now, wait, cut this. Never mind.
But they did say they would have more lifeboats than before. So there's that.
Edit.
I'm just saying, Jimmy Cameron, come on, man. Get some Avatar 2 going.
Seriously. He forgot about it, and he hopes we do too.
Anyway, is that all we got for Roundtable, Tim?
I think Brad has one more thing for us we wanted to talk about.
Oh, all right.
If we have time. Speaking of canoes, there are a couple of Disney DVC special canoes. There are each year Disney offers some DVC member cruises, and when I first became a DVC member, I really wasn't that interested in them because they were always more expensive, and I thought, why am I going to spend more to go hang out with DVC members? I'm not knocking DVC members, but I mean that's not enough reason to pay more. Then I started hearing about all of this. But then I started hearing about all the special perks they were getting, the special guests and the different people that would be on board for these cruises. They did a lot of very special one-off kind of things for them to honor them for being DVC members. So I thought, well, I need to pay more attention to this. And this year, I just thought we'd spend a minute talking about, because this year, in 2019, they're going to actually offer 2 member cruises. Now, most years they've only offered 1. There's been a couple of times where they've offered 2, but they're almost always cruises that are just to the Caribbean or to the Bahamas. Well, this time they're doing 1 member cruise in May 15th through the 20th. That's a Pacific Coast cruise that goes from San Diego to Vancouver.
Oh my gosh.
And then the second one is a 7-night Bermuda cruise going out of New York.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
Isn't that cool? And it's like, well, that's really smart, because instead of having to, all that we've ever done is Caribbean, and it's doubtful they'll pull it off for Alaskan, because Alaskan season is so short and the ships are always so packed. But both of those sounded really intriguing to me. So just to give you an idea, for the Bermuda cruise is in October 5th to the 12th, by the way. If you with a member cruise, you can use points. So for an inside 11C, bottom of the line, per person, is 240 points per person, or $1,841 if you want to pay cash. Most people will, most people. And then if you want to go up to a Veranda, a 6A is 351 points per person, and $26.92 for cash, and that's for the Pacific Coast cruise. If you figure that out, that's basically
for how many nights?
The Pacific Coast is 5 nights.
Okay.
So that's part of the reason why it's a little less expensive. With that, I calculated it out, and that you're basically paying, for the cash price they're asking for, it's basically $7.67 per point. Now, where some people will look at that and go, well, I've already paid off my DVC, and so I'm really not paying any more of my original investment. I'm just covering my dues each year, and my dues are less than $600, so I'm actually getting, a couple $100 of value there. That's true. However, you can rent your points, basically any of the rental places, for $11 a point. If you rented your points for $11 and then just paid cash, you would actually make $799 off of your points that you'd have left over after you paid for the cruise, for 200, if you pay 240 points. So my point is, that's a lot of points. If you want to use points, you certainly could. You're not going to lose money anymore unless you have not paid off your original contract. You wouldn't lose money, but it's still better just to rent your points and pay cash. For the 7-night Bermuda cruise, there's 240 points for an inside. It's 328 for an inside on the 7-night Bermuda.
But you're saying that's per person? Per
person, yeah.
Wow.
Can you imagine somebody that? There's people that own that many points. I'm not one of them.
Yeah.
Nope. No.
No, I understand, but I guess what I don't understand is when you book a room, you're just paying the points for the room.
Right.
And you're allowed to have whatever, 4 people in the room or whatever it is. I'm kind of curious as to why they're not just bumping it up a few more points and saying, okay, you're just getting the room.
I think it's because, this is my speculation, it's because the cruise line includes all your food and your entertainment. So you have to think about it a little bit more like by per person, because, if you have four heads in a dining room is different than 2 heads in a dining room.
True.
So I'm not trying to make excuses for Disney to charge extra, because
you can guarantee that's the main reason why, is because it's everything on a cruise is all inclusive. Where in a hotel it's not all inclusive. So
and your third and fourth,
because they do this by the way, they do the same thing with Adventures by Disney.
Mm-hmm.
If you use points to do an Adventures by Disney, you have to do it per person.
Gotcha.
Because it's an inclusive thing.
All right.
Right.
Well, that makes sense.
They do charge less for that third and fourth person, though. Even no matter what age they are, I think. So it's not like, I think your first 2 guests in a stateroom are always the most expensive.
Right. I'm not going to guess, but yes, in the past it was always less for third and fourth. So it is a little more expensive than you would spend, but not a lot ridiculous. And I kind of looked at it and went, I'm seriously considering this one of these times where I'll rent out my points, and that'll cover the extra cost that I'm paying to go on a DVC member cruise.
Yeah.
And do you know when the West Coast one is?
It is May 15th. May 15th. Leaves San Diego and arrives in Vancouver May 20th.
Okay.
Is it an either or, Brad? Can you combine? Can you say, well, I want to use my points for me, but I want to pay for my wife and kids?
Oh,
I know.
So in the past, they would allow you to do that too. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, they'll let you do. They've done that in the past.
Okay.
Well, a lot of people did that. Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say you can do any combination from what I've been told. You can pay I think 1 point or something, or maybe minimum one person, and then the rest dollars.
Oh, okay.
All right. Neat.
Because if I remember correctly, in the past, for the third and fourth person, the actual cost per point on the number of points that we're charging went up.
Oh, wow.
So it was like it didn't make sense.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Just get 2 rooms.
Or went down. It became less effective. And so it was like, well, we used points for the first 2 people. We're paying cash for third and fourth. So a lot of people were doing that in the early days of it.
All right.
That's all I got.
Nice.
Hey.
Oh.
That's my line.
Oh.
Wow. Before I do say that, hold up. Before I say that, I want to reiterate. This Seven Seas Lagoon cruise, party size limited to 1 owner plus a maximum of 3 guests, Tim.
I
Just
know.
reiterating.
We just need to know one person.
I'm with you. When are we doing that?
We just need to announce when our next resort meet's going to be. We can start planning. Looper meet, baby.
I love it.
Go.
Love it. Anyway, guys, thanks so much. Tim, that is all I've got.
Awesome. Everybody, thanks for joining us for the show. Tim Scott, Facebook, Twitter, the website, ResortLoop.com. Brad, where can people find you?
They can find me trying to fix my internet. and Papa Mouse 1 at Twitter. And I'm hanging out Resort Loop Live. Sometimes in Resort Loop Rocketeers. And hopefully you can come see me in January at the half marathon.
Nice.
I love that. Emily, where are you?
I'm still working on Joe to get me a shirt for Rocketeers, so I can advertise.
Oh yeah.
There you go.
Yes, so I'm at First Comes WDW, Disney Lounging, ResortLoop.com, Looper Nation Live, Resort Loop Rocketeers, anywhere that has the word Disney in it, and mostly recently in my cubicle at work.
There you go.
That reminds me, Tim, if we give Emily one more
duty
job, yeah, she becomes like part owner.
I think so.
We gotta be careful of
we got to be very careful.
Keep it. That's okay. Don't worry. I'll self-limit for a while. I promise.
No. Never do that.
No. Bob, where can people find you?
I have no idea. I'm just around. But listen, if you do want to get some Looper swag, head on over to tpublic / I think it's users / ResortLoop, and you can check out some Looper gear if you're into that. Like you said, Tim, Christmas right around the corner.
Coming.
So, what else should folks do, Tim?
Everyone, go out there and please share the gateway to the magic.
See you, everybody.
Vacation memories will stay with you and your family for a lifetime. The Resort Loop Travel Group was created with this in mind. Our fee-free services will relieve you of the stress and confusion of finding and booking the best vacation at the best price. After booking, we will continue to monitor for ways to save you even more on your vacation. We will check for any upcoming packages and discounts to save you as many vacation dollars as possible. Resort Loop Travel Group, gateway to your magical vacation memories. Get a quote, or for more information, visit ResortLoopTravelGroup.com.